What's up, y'all? I don't even have anything like cute to say, like WTF, bro. Like WTF. Like bro. Like yo. Like I oh my god. Okay. Ooh. Like y'all, like you know, like why? Why? Like let's get into this video. Y'all, this is this is a lot. Like a lot. Like when I tell you 2025 has been blowing my mind, but in a bad way. Like the civil unrest, people reigniting old beefs with people, like eh. I'm tired. Lord, let 2026 be different and a positive. Cause this was not on my bingo card. Like y'all, mm. So we got a lot of information to get through. I know most of y'all have probably already seen this information, but if you clicked on this video, you came here for my opinion. So I'm gonna start from the beginning of how all this info, like we starting from you gonna go on a journey. We're going on a journey of how I felt yesterday. Okay, that's the simplest way I could say it without going on a tangent. Because when I tell you, I'm still like, my God, bro. like like WTF. Like yesterday, Twitter was crazy yesterday, but it was a fun time to be a housewife fan because the memes, the comments, like people had me tickled, okay? And then I had friends who know I review the shows or who know just in general I like housewives hit me up and they was like, girl, what is this? What she do? I said, girl, I'm still learning, trying to figure out too. I don't know. I'm stressed. I'm stressed. Okay. And the crazy thing about it is, it's like I'm shocked, but also like not, but also yes, because I didn't think like, here's the thing. What's funny to me is a lot of people have gone back and looked at my Potomac playlist of my reviews of Real Housewives of Potomac because I think I started reviewing season 6. Was it season 6 or was it season 7? No, I think it was season 6. Either season 6 or I think it was season 6 with Mia. Um and I remember a lot of people felt like I was very critical and like harsh on Wendy. Like some of you guys who found me during the different seasons of me reviewing Real Housewives of Potomac was like, "Dang, Leah, you a little harsh." And I said, they were like, y'all were always like, "Leah, you a little harsh on Wendy." And my thing about it is with Wendy is like, I don't dislike her, but I've always felt like Wendy was like a try hard or very like, yeah, I just thought she was corny, to be honest. There was something about the way that when she came back for season 6 and she like clung to Karen that I was just like, girl, why? And the reason why I say that is like I did not like the way Karen treated her during season 5. Like it was like the way that Karen was like so dismissive and she was acting like she never met Wendy and she didn't know Wendy, but come to find out, y'all knew each other in a roundabout way. Like y'all were on a board together. So it's like you still somewhat know her. Not, that doesn't mean y'all know each other like personally, but like you have been in her presence, and I just felt like it was disrespectful on Karen's part. I also didn't like how people try to demean the fact that she kept bringing up that she had 4 degrees, because my thing is like that is a flex. Like if you look at the amount of people that have like PhDs and master's degrees, especially when you look at like black people, it's not a lot. So I feel like she should be proud to say that, especially like if the women on this show can boast about having 4 homes and getting rich off of sleeping with an old wet pasty demon of a man, then why can't she boast about her educational like accomplishments? Like, and I love a smart girl, so I was down for it. Like, I was like, I didn't care. And then, especially if you are someone who has experienced professional school, you understand how grueling, how like taxing that can be mentally. So I think you have every right to like scream to the rooftops, yeah, girl, I got 4 degrees. What do you have? Like, so I never felt like that was something that was wrong for her to boast about. So it bothered me season 6 where it felt like she shifted because of how nasty the fans were to her. And I just was like, girl, just be yourself. So there was always a part of me that felt like Wendy wasn't really being who she was. But eventually I got over it. And like I said, I don't dislike Wendy, but I always just felt like she was trying too hard or she was corny to me. Okay. So like this is surprising, but also not at the same time, but also still surprising because I wouldn't think that as smart as her and Eddie are, they would do something allegedly so stupid in the state of Maryland. And I say this as someone who grew up from 8th grade to 12th grade in the DMV area in Virginia. Now, some people don't classify where I stay as the DMV, but it's still Northern Virginia. I grew up in Haymarket, Virginia. Most people don't even know where that little town is, but I'll say the closest town, well, city next to it is Gainesville, Virginia. And like the metro was like maybe 25 to 30 minutes away. Honestly, only 25 minutes. If you was booking it on the highway, 25 minutes away in Fairfax, Virginia. And we would be in DC all the time, going to the museums, going on U Street, you know, going to Annandale or going to Crystal City. Like, so it's just, to me, growing up there, you know how strict like laws are there, and to play this type of game in Maryland is so like it's dumb. It's so dumb because I knew like the DMV wasn't to play with when they started implementing laws for like texting and driving. And at minimum, if you got pulled over for speeding and they saw your phone and it was close enough to you where the cops thought that you were texting and driving, you were getting hit with a $500 fine. Or I think at the time when I was a kid it was like 250, but I think now it's like 500. So I'm just like, why would you play them games? Like why? Why would we do this? Okay? This is just a lot. So what we going to do is just go through this information the way that I found it. So a lot of this is probably going to be repeated information because I know a lot of people were like watching they faves, you know, online, because everyone was posting YouTube videos back to back. But y'all clicked on this video to hear my opinion, so here we are. So I woke up like around like 8 o'clock in the morning, you know, doing what I do, getting ready, going to work, doing my thing. And then I get on Twitter and it's like around like 10:15, maybe like 10:20. I scroll and then I see the mug shots of Wendy and Eddie. And I thought it was AI generated, y'all. Legit, I thought it was April Fool's. I didn't think it was real. I did I did not think it was real. Okay. And then I like scrolled past it and I really didn't pay attention to it. Then I started seeing my mutuals on Twitter being like, girl, fraud. I said, wait, what we talking about? And people was like, Wendy, no. And I'm like, oh my God, was that real? So then I scroll back as quick as I can to find who tweeted out the picture of the mugshot. Again, I'm still thinking it's not real, it's AI generated, and people just didn't read the story. But then when I realized who tweeted it out, I was gagged because it was Phil Lewis. And if you're on Twitter, you know who Phil Lewis is. And if you are on Twitter and you don't know who Phil Lewis is, or if you're not on Twitter in general, Phil Lewis is a journalist and a credible journalist at that. Like a lot of people thought the man was just tweeting out stories, but come to find out, he actually is a journalist, like went to college, not some random account that was posting like news clippings and things of that nature. So I said, my God, this is real. Then when I read what he tweeted over the picture and I saw TMZ, I said, oh my God, this is real. Okay. So this is what he posted. And this was posted at 9:56 a.m. at on October the 10th. And it says, Real Housewives of Potomac star Dr. Wendy Osefo and her husband Eddie have been booked on criminal fraud charges, TMZ reported. I said, my God, today. So I clicked on the I clicked on the picture and I read the article. And y'all, I was so like, when I saw felonies, I said, felonies? So this is what TMZ posted. It says the Real Housewives of Potomac, Wendy Osefo and her husband booked on fraud charges. It says Dr. Wendy Osefo and her husband Eddie have been booked on criminal fraud charges, TMZ has learned. According to documents obtained by TMZ, the Real Housewives of Potomac star is facing 16 charges. I said 16? 8 plus 8? 8 plus 8? Then it says including 7 felonies. Felonies. For allegedly making false/misleading info fraud in excess of $300. She also faces 1 misdemeanor count of making a false statement to an officer. Wendy Osefo has been on the show since season 5. She's a college professor of education teaching at Johns Hopkins University and a journalist contributing to The Hill and MSNBC. Wendy has degrees from Temple University, Johns Hopkins, and a PhD in public affairs and community development from Rutgers. Wendy was tight with Kamala Harris. Or no, it's not Kamala. Kamala. Or Kamala. I always mess up her name. Kamala Harris during the former VP's run for president last year. The two are members of the sorority Alpha Kappa Alpha. The news comes on the heels of RHOP castmate Karen Huger's release from jail last month after serving 6 months of a 1-year sentence for back-to-back DUIs. Story developing. So when I read this, I said, okay, maybe it ain't that big of a deal, especially when I read $300. Because I was like, okay, $300... Okay, that's not, they can pay that back. 300, but then when I saw the felony charges, I was like, maybe they're just exaggerating. You know, they putting charges on the lady and her husband. It ain't that bad, you know? I was like, maybe it's not that bad. Maybe it's not that bad. But then once I tapped out of, the tweet, I saw this one Twitter user end up asking Phil $300, and he posts $300 has to be a typo. No, like that's not that big of a deal. So I was like, okay, I'm not the only one thinking this way. And then Phil responds back, appears to be a thing in Maryland. And it said, and he put like a graphic where it says, what is a penalty for committing insurance fraud? It says in Maryland, insurance fraud can be punished criminally and or civilly. Fraudulent acts where the value is $300 or more is a felony. If less than $300, it's a misdemeanor. In addition to criminal penalties, the Maryland Insurance Administration may impose civil administrative penalties not exceeding $25,000 for each act of insurance fraud. So I said, oh, so it's $300 and more. So $300 is, I said, okay. And when I saw the story was developing, I still had hope. I still had hope that it wasn't that big of a deal, that maybe, the system, because we know how the system do us. The system was doing too much, But then a man by the name of Matthew, I think it's Torres, posted the court documents, and when I read them, I said, "Oh God, no! This is worse. This is worse." Because I saw people talking about $450,000 on Twitter, and I was like, "What do you mean $450,000? Is that what they're being what do you mean?" And when I read this, I said, "My Lanta." Okay, so this is what Matthew tweeted out. And he is also a reporter, and he works with the network called WUSA 9, which is a DC, Maryland, and Virginia weather, news, and traffic site, or and it's on CBS. So it's a news site. So he is, in Virginia, Maryland, DC. He from the DMV. So I was like, okay, so this is actually real. So he tweeted this out by saying this, #RHOP star Wendy Osefo and her husband were arrested on 16 charges, including insurance fraud. Here are the court documents. They alleged the couple wrongfully reported their items were stolen in a burglary for financial purposes, citing the Osefos are in substantial debt. And then he put at WUSA 9. I said, debt. I said, how bad is the debt that y'all would do something like this? Okay. So I'm going to play his video because he also attached a video where, he explains a little bit further of what is in the documents, and then we're going to read the documents, okay?
Were arrested. Okay, so for all you Real Housewives fans out there, we have another housewife arrested. This time it is Dr. Wendy Osefo of the Real Housewives of Potomac. She and her husband were arrested and charged on 16 counts, some of them felony, including insurance fraud. Now, we were able to obtain some court documents. This is what it said. The couple, back in April of 2024, reported that their home in Carroll County, Maryland, was burglarized and items were stolen. The following day, they filed 3 insurance claims. Deputies say they started to get suspicious. Not only did the home's Ring camera not show any indication of a burglary, but they claim the couple bought and returned the same items they reported stolen before the reported burglary. Court documents say in one case, Dr. Osefo could be seen wearing a ring that she reported stolen after the fact. They're now being accused of insurance fraud of up to $500,000.
All right. So that is what Matthew had to say. So let's get into the court documents. So it says the state of Maryland versus Wendy Osefo. And it says this: now comes the state of Maryland by and through its attorney, Melissa O, I think is Hawkins Smith, deputy state attorney for Carroll County, and states the following. On Tuesday, October the 9th, 2025, the defendants were indicted by a grand jury from Carroll County on 7 counts of insurance fraud, 8 counts of conspiracy insurance fraud, and 1 count of false statement to a police officer. And it says an arrest warrant was issued and bail was set at $50,000. Oh, Jesus. Okay. It says the alleged in the case are that on April the 7th, 2024, Carroll County Sheriff's Officer deputies responded to, and they blacked out their address of their home, which I appreciate, so they don't know doxing and things of that nature. It says in Carroll County, Maryland, for a call reported burglary. A deputy was met by the homeowners, Edward and Wendy Osefo, who reported to him that they had left to go on a trip to Jamaica on April the 2nd, 2024. And when they returned on April the 7th, 2024, at approximately 10 p.m., they found their bedroom and both closets to be ransacked, and several designer handbags and jewelry had been stolen. Okay? So if you remember, TMZ reported on this back in April of 2024, where it suggested that Wendy's house was burglarized, okay? They reposted that so they could be like, hey, we told y'all first. But yeah, it happened. That's what was reported to them back in April. And I have a clip for it, so let me play that clip for you guys.
Was the victim of a home break-in. So her and her family were recently on vacation in Jamaica. While they were gone, someone got in and they were able to get their hands on 3 of her Birkin bags, and a majority of her jewelry was also taken.
Wow. She did what everyone, no celebrity should do. She posted that her entire family was in Jamaica, not from her house. She was posting the entire trip of her and her family gone.
Nobody should post that they're out of town.
A huge problem.
You can't blame, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a mistake to do. People should not do that.
They shouldn't, but I would feel so violated. Someone's been in her.
All right, y'all. So we saw the TMZ video. Let's continue on. So it says this: the state evidence would show the ported point of entry into the home to be the owner's bathroom window on the 2nd floor. Now, how? Okay. Without a ladder, how we getting to the 2nd floor, okay? It says the window looks onto a small roof that was 9 feet above the deck. There were no ladders. Girl, I didn't read this part. I did not read. I just skimmed over it. Okay. It says there were no ladders and the deck furniture was undisturbed and no indication anyone had been on the deck. Y'all. Okay. It says the Osefo stated they did not touch anything prior to the police's arrival. There was a scene with damage laying on the roof, and the window was not locked. To go in or out of the window, or one has to step on the toilet. The toilet lid was down and no debris on it. Now, if we was going to stage an entry and a break, y'all was supposed to break glass, put some mud up there, you know, mark up your what's this called? Mark up the walls. Like, it's, you got to make it believable. Okay. It goes on to say, there was no damages laying on the roof of the window, not locked to go through the window. Okay. The toilet lid was down and had no debris on it. When the sheriff's office personally stepped onto the roof and back into the home, they tracked roof grit back inside. The Osefos had an ADT system and a ring camera. The Osefos activated the ADT alarm system upon leaving for vacation. During the time they were away, there was no motion detected. Girl. Inside the residence, there was activity such as packages delivers on the ring camera that monitor reportedly by the Osefos. If someone broke into the house, like legit, and you had the security, like our house, like this house, like almost everybody's house has an alarm. Even apartments have alarms. They have like my apartment had an alarm on it. Like if somebody this is. We continue on. It says investigation determined that on April the 8th, 2024, the Osefos initiated 3 separate insurance claims for the burglary and theft: traveler's insurance, jewelry mutual insurance, and home site insurance company for the alleged loss and suffered while they were away. Edward Osefo gave record statements to 2 of the insurance companies regarding a list of stolen items he provided. He was asked whether any of the items on the list had been returned, which he denied. He was asked if he had other insurance but failed to disclose the home site and jewelers that he was also making a claim with traveler's insurance. It goes on to say, home site, both Edward and Wendy Osefo signed a sworn statement of loss, which was notarized. Ooh, y'all. Okay. The total amount of loss claims on sworn statements of loss was $2,500 for the building and $450,000 estimated for content/personal property. I'm going to tell you, this ain't like Wendy and Eddie got nice pieces. They do, but ain't nothing in that house worth that much. Ain't nothing in that house. Like, they live a very nice, like, middle, slightly upper class life. Even when we met Wendy during season 5, it gave middle class. It didn't give $450,000 worth of personal stuff being stolen. Okay. He included an inventory of reported stolen items along with receipts for the purchases of most of the items on the inventory. The claim was denied due to failure to disclose the policies with traveler's insurance. Okay. It says in the original claim on April the 8th, 2024 to travelers, Edward confirmed that he and his wife were wearing their anniversary bands when the loss occurred. However, Edward claimed traveler's insurance on April the 10th, 2024 and said he needed to update their claim, citing his wife's gold diamond anniversary band was missing. So continuing on, it says that same day, traveler's insurance settled the claim for $25,380, which included the replacement price for the band that was $4,500. After the initial report claim on April the 11th by both Wendy and Edward signed and submitted letters to Jewelers Mutual's insurance claiming the burglary occurred and items were reported stolen. At the request of the Jewelers Mutual's insurance, the Osefos provided an initial list of 57 stolen items. Including on that list was Wendy's golden dime anniversary band that was reported in Traveler's insurance claim. So So on the 10th, they reported that the band was stolen to Travelers Insurance, and they already got a payout from the Travelers Insurance for the $25,380. And then on the 11th of April of 2024, they reported it again, but this time to the Jewelers Mutual's Insurance to get more money. So it says on April the 22nd, 2024, Edward was interviewed during a recorded call and did not make any mention of the jewelry claim or a payout with Travelers Insurance. Deputies were suspicious of the circumstances of the burglary and records from stores where some of the items were purchased, along with social media and email. Girl, not y'all was emailing about this? Investigations determined that numerous items that the Osefo's claims were stolen had been purchased, then returned to the store, while full refunds were provided prior along with the burglary. Y'all, these items were valued to exceed of These items were valued in excess of $20,000. For example, there was a Dior shirt that was listed as stolen, valued at $1,450, but the shirt was returned on January the 14th, 2 days after the birthday. Okay, my bad, y'all. January the 14th, 2023, for a refund, and a Gucci leather wallet that was purchased in 2018 and returned 2 weeks later for a refund of $948.70. Additionally, while reviewing the social media Instagram account of Wendy Osefo, deputies observed a photo prior to the burglary wearing her diamond anniversary band on her left ring. Wendy. The ring was reported stolen in the burglary. Then after reported burglary on April the 27th, 2024, Wendy Osefo is wearing the same ring, oh my God, on her left finger. The ring features multiple rows of diamonds and has a V shape on the side that separates where the rows of diamonds begin. The ring had been photoed prior to the burglary for an appraisal and match photo of the ring on April the 27th, 2024. Deputies obtained email records for the Osefos on April the 12th, 2024. Edward emailed the list of reported stolen items to Wendy, then emailed asked if there were additional high-value items we can add to this list, inventory list, and then they put in parentheses Chanel shoes and etc. I'm trying to get a total to exceed $423,000. Oh, they got them. Which is our policy's maximum. Damn. Why would y'all email each other this information? At that time of the arrest, a search and seize warrant was executed for the Osefos' homes, and deputies found at least 15 items that appeared to be the same ones claimed stolen during the alleged burglary. Investigations revealed the Osefos to be burdened by substantial debt. Edward and Wendy conspired to make fraudulent statements and provide misleading information in support of making the three insurance claims for financial gain. It says, wherefore the state respectfully requests the bail to remain the same at $50,000. My God, today. So like I said, y'all are following me on the way that I came upon this information. And like I said, while I was reading, I skimmed through the court documents. I was trying to figure out why everyone kept saying $450,000. So I didn't even read about how the burglary went down, because I saw some people saying they staged a burglary, like why? And I'm like, I didn't even care about that part. I was caring about why does everyone keep saying $450,000? So like when I found the part of the court documents that said it, I just read that and I was like, why would you make that number that high? Like, why? I didn't even read about like her and him doing email correspondence until I went back. But I didn't even read that portion about like him emailing her like, girl, we trying to get the maximum. Oh my God. My God, today. And so I got off of Twitter after reading the doc. Well, no, before I got off of Twitter, I saw that someone reposted a TMZ thread. And then, like, because, you know, when I first read the story, it said developing. So once I saw that TMZ was posting about the $450,000, I said, girl, this is real. Like, they really did that. That's what's in them documents. That's what's in the documentation. Like, bro. And then I looked at the mugshot, and when I tell you both of them were high as hell, when I tell you they were above cloud nine, they were floating in the atmosphere. Eddie don't even look like he there. Okay. And Wendy's smile is so creepy. Like, girl, the lace, I said, oh my God, they look rough. And Wendy and Eddie they're a beautiful couple, but Jesus, no. So then I went over to Instagram because I was like, maybe there's more stuff over here. And girl, it was. So Bravo Snarkside did a whole slideshow where they also posted the court documents, and, you know, they underline different things. Specifically the golden anniversary ring that was stated in the documents. They underlined it multiple times. And what's crazy is the part of the court documents that was underlined where it says, prior to the burglary, wearing a diamond anniversary band on her left finger. The ring was reported stolen in the burglary. Then after reported burglary on April the 27th, 2024, Wendy Osefo is wearing the ring on the same finger on her left finger. And then they actually have a picture of her with the ring on, y'all. And I said, what the fuck? Like, why would you wear it? Why? Let me keep going before I really... And so it's a picture of her, and this is what they captioned the picture. Wendy Osefo wearing a ring allegedly stolen and claimed on 2 separate insurances. And then they show her with the ring, but then they also show a article that was done by a guy by the name of Joshua, I think is Wilbur, and it's for a magazine that says, our HOP star Wendy Osefo home burglarized while on vacation. My family and I are devastated. And they circle April the 12th, 2024. Then they also have a screenshot of Wendy wearing the ring, and they circle the date on Instagram, and it's April the 28th, 2024. If we gonna commit a crime, can we be smart about it? Jesus. So I saw that and I said, my Lord, it's going down. Friday, and guess who's playing Jason? Oh my God. Just like when I tell you my nerves started to get bad, like I was the one in trouble. Like I started like slightly to get anxiety. And I had to I was like, oh my God, like they might go to jail for real, y'all. So then I'm scrolling, and then I see Candace was on the local news, and they asked her about it. So let me play the clip of her responding to this.
Breaking news just into our newsroom. TMZ reporting exclusively. Real Housewives of Potomac star Dr. Wendy Osefo and her husband Eddie have been booked for criminal fraud charges. It's literally just into our newsroom. I know that you're good girlfriends with her, Candace. According to the documents so far TMZ obtained, the star is facing 16 charges, including 7 felonies. Osefo has been charged with falsely misleading info in her, we don't know where the $300 comes in, but it involves $300.
Excessive of $300.
Yes, and she also faces 1 misdemeanor count of making a false statement to police. We know that's very serious. The couple were booked last night in Westminster, Maryland, in Carroll County. She's been on The Real Housewives for 5 years. Our first listen, Candace, what are you thinking?
I am floored. I am shocked. I'm sad. You know, it feels to me, we've just, gone through the Karen Huger of it all. Karen just came home. Karen paid her debt to society, but one might opine that, perhaps Karen was made an example of. And I am now, as I'm literally just getting this news with you all, that's my first thought is $300 and we're arresting a mother and a father, business owners, entrepreneurs. We don't know what the charges are for, but we know that the Osefos have a very successful marijuana business. They are providing jobs and opportunities for people of color in the area, in the DMV. And so my first thought is, Are they being targeted? Is this something that we should be thinking about? And I obviously I know the Osefos. I know their children. I know her family, and I'm heartbroken. Like I'm shaking because we're just finding this. I can't imagine.
When was the last time you spoke with Dr. Wendy?
Very recently, like we text all the time. So she never let on that anything was wrong. I know Eddie and Chris were just speaking via text. So I'm shocked, and it just feels like someone is out to get the girls. Like how are two women from the same show that features African American women in the climate we're living in today, where people are being picked up and snatched off the street for frivolous nonsense. I would like to see everything.
So here's the thing. Candace is one of my girls, okay? I don't really have that many faves when it comes to housewives, but I do have girls that I really like on I can't say every show, but I got girls, housewives that I like, and Candace is one of them. I don't understand why everyone was so angry with her response. I get it that some people were like, girl, this whole them being targeted thing don't make sense, and it don't. I was like, Candace, I love you, girl, but no. No one is targeting Karen or Wendy. Karen needed to go sit down somewhere. And I love me some Karen Huger. Like she is delusional in the ways that I enjoy. I get a good laugh at her. Like I said on my review for Real Housewives of Potomac, I love laughing at Karen and with Karen. So yeah, but Karen needed to sit down. You were on your 4th DUI. Like, ma'am, the next one was probably you was going to be up on out of here. So she needed to sit down and reflect about what she was doing. So nobody was making an example out of Karen. Karen got on TV being cocky, thinking nobody was going to touch her, and had to get embarrassed and humbled with that body cam footage. That still makes my stomach turn, because the embarrassment. But she had to learn a lesson. And unfortunately, Wendy and Andy are going to too, because this was so stupid, bro. This was so stupid. Hopefully, because this is their first offense, they don't face crazy amount of consequences. Maybe they might put them on some probation and they have to pay things back, or but ain't nobody targeting them. But what I will say is, people just don't like Candace, because I don't understand why y'all would expect Candace to bash her friend. Like, why? And the information that was being given to her, it was breaking news. Like, she just heard the information, and she was like the rest of us. Like I told y'all, when I saw $300, I was like, well, maybe they just putting trumped up charges on them. Maybe it's not that deep. So when you hear $300 and you hear fraud and insurance fraud, you're kind of like, it's $300. Just let them pay it back and we move on. So she didn't have a full context, and they told her that earlier in the morning. She probably feels a lot differently now that all the information has come out and she's read the documents, that she probably does feel like, well, girl, you did the crime, you got to do the time. That's probably how she feels now. But people being mad at her was wild, okay? So then we also had Mia hop into the chat. So Mia was doing a FaceTime call with the page Reality Rundown, but specifically, I think his name is, I'm probably going to butcher, I think it's Kaiden or Kaiden. I think it's Kaiden. I think he runs Reality Rundown, or he's one of the major correspondents for that blog page. He was FaceTiming her. So this is what they posted. It also was shared by No Chaser TV. The guy's name is Chase, and he has a YouTube channel as well. And I think he also goes back and forth and works with Reality Rundown. But this was the caption that No Chaser TV posted, where it says, Mia Thornton provides comment to the Reality Rundown on the shocking news of Eddie and Dr. Wendy Osefo were arrested on Thursday on charges related to alleged insurance fraud. And it says source at the Reality Rundown /ad Kaiden or Kaiden. Okay, so let me play that clip for you guys.
The only ones who is I literally, she just messaged me a couple days ago. She's one of the very only, the only ones who is I'm so proud. What she said was, God has you covered, right? So I need a second, because
I get it.
I opened my phone. I had no idea it was even going on. And I'm like, I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm very, very shocked, because I felt Miss 4 Degrees had it together. Okay? I thought she had it together. I mean, isn't Eddie an attorney, for heaven's sakes? What the fuck? Excuse my language. Can I not?
A And the thing that sucks is I can't even be mad at what Mia is saying. Like the shade, like not Miss 4 Degrees. I thought she had it all together. Like I can't, cause like girl, we all thought she had it together. We all thought y'all was good. And you did some bull like this. Oh. And then I just started thinking like about like all the people that hate Wendy. Like when I tell you the people that have been praying or waiting for Wendy's downfall, they was geeks up on Twitter. Like it was so bad. Like one of my mutuals posted, what did they post? And it was making traction on Reddit. It was something to the effect of like, Dr. Wendy she sets the bar and she's behind the bar. I said, oh my God. I was like, enough. Then another person said, the other person said something to the effect of Wendy is always copying Karen. Karen did candles, Wendy did candles. But I think Wendy did candles first and then Karen did candles. But the statement was Karen did candles, Wendy did candles. Karen went to jail, now Wendy going to jail. And I said, oh my God, stop it. Stop it. Please, please. And all I could think about is like all the people like that she had beef with, probably gleefully, like in a group. I know that group chat that has NECA. That group, there's probably a group chat with NECA, Sharice, NECA, Sharice, Robin, Ashley, and Giselle. And I know that group chat was probably jumping. I know they was in that group chat talking Cash Money shit. Like I know they were. Cause I'm not even Wendy, and me and my friends was in the group chat talking shit. So I know they were going in. And then I started thinking about like Eddie's family. Girl, they probably feel vindicated AF. Cause they ain't never liked Wendy. They never wanted Wendy to be with their son. And now this, and they just got cool last season. Like, this has the potential to drive that family apart even further or bring them together and actually, like, try to help them and things of that. Because the kids gonna need them. Because if Eddie and Wendy go to jail, like, they're looking at 7 felonies is a lot of time. It is a lot of time, okay? And they're gonna need, like, Mama Susie. I know that lady was on that phone screaming Holy Ghost help. I know she cussed them 2 out. Because the shame of this, bro. Like, I'm not Nigerian, okay? This is Black American here. And I already know how it is in the Black American community. Like, people really do take pride in their children and their families. And we are very prideful people. So I know they prideful. African people, I know. So I know she pissed. Because she know when she go to church on Sunday, oh my God, I would love to be in church on Sunday. I would, cause I know the church mothers and aunties are talking. I know they are. Cause I remember being at church. I was like in middle school, and it was this one couple in church, and everybody found out that the wife was cheating on the husband, and they came into that. When I told we were talking about that man, that lady cheating on her husband. I said, so if me as a child was talking about that, I know the adults were talking about, and I can only imagine how church is gonna be on Sunday. Oh, they gonna be throwing shade at that lady. Cause Mama Susie got a stank attitude from time to time. So I know people were praying for her downfall up in there. Oh my God. Oh my. I remember watching somebody saying, I will never give my enemies the satisfaction of laughing at me for failing. And like, girl, I felt that because I hate being embarrassed. So I know she got to be embarrassed because this is humiliating. Humiliating, okay? So I continued on the reality rundowns page, and I saw that they created a slideshow the same way like Bravo Snarkside did. So most of the information in here we already read in the court documents, but I do like how they reference and shows you what they actually got in trouble for. So this one slide says the triple insurance hustle. Court documents say the couple filed 3 separate insurance claims for the same burglary. Travelers Insurance paid $25,000, including $4,500 for Wendy's ring. Home state insurance, or home site insurance claimed $450,000 in losses, and it says Jewelry Mutual reported 57 stolen items. They alleged they never told each company the others were already paying out. So not only are they getting in trouble with over exaggerating, potentially allegedly setting up a burglary, but they're also getting in trouble because they didn't alert the other insurance companies of their different payouts and their different claims. So it continues on with them also talking about fully what they got committed for. So we're going to rehash it again. It says they were arrested when the deputies searched the couple's home and found at least 15 of the same items they claim were stolen. The Osefos are charged with 7 counts of insurance fraud, 8 counts of conspiracy to commit fraud, 1 count of false statement to police, and bail was set at $500. Not $500, $50,000, okay? So it continues on and says that they are in substantial debt. So I wonder, like, what the debt, like, how bad is it? The debt got to be that bad. It got to be bad for y'all to do something like this. So it goes on and says the motive, prosecutors say the couple was dealing with substantial debt and allegedly staged a burglary to collect insurance money for financial gain. If convicted, each charge could mean up to 10 years in prison and $10,000 fine per account. Girl, they were charged with 16 things. 7 of those things were felonies. The rest are misdemeanors. No, hold up. Yeah. I'm hoping, I'm really hoping that because this is their first offense, they go lightly on these people, but I don't know. Like, we are in a time where, like, history is reversing, and, like, you can't be, you're black, like, oh my gosh, like, the babies, the children. So I continue scrolling on Instagram, and I saw, by way of All True Tea, that Jay's reality blog made a post because Katie Ross decided to make a statement. So this is what was posted. It says, #RHOPOG, Katie Ross weighs in on Wendy Osefo's arrest. It says Katie Ross official. So this was something that was posted on Instagram. It says, Wendy, I got a message from someone who asked me to make a statement. I know this is all bullshit. I'm going to send a letter to the president. Keep your head up, sending love. Girl, that man don't care about us. That man do not care about nobody. And she was working for Kamala. He probably gonna tell them to expedite it. Okay, so don't send that man no letter. No, Katie. No. And then I also saw, by way of All True Tea, that Jacqueline made a post as well on Threads, and she said this: Wendy was the only housewife who called me personally to congratulate me on my pregnancy, and she's always shown me genuine love and support during my last season of RHOP. Eddie has always been super cool, always respectful, and cool with my child's father. Sending my heart and deepest prayers to the Osefo family. #RHOP. I thought that was really nice. You know, that's why you treat people kindly, because when you need support, you get it, you know? So I said, okay. And I thought that was it. And then everything was okay. Everything was fine. But then I found out that Eddie and Wendy made a statement, and TMZ posted it. So it says this, and this also is coming from All True Tea. It says, Wendy and her husband, Eddie Osefo, released a statement. Goes, a rep for Wendy tells TMZ Dr. Wendy Osefo and her husband, Edward Osefo, are back home safely with their family in good spirits. They are grateful for the outpouring of concern and support from friends, fans, and colleagues. The Osefos, alongside their legal team, look forward to their day in court. At this time, they are respectfully asking for privacy as they focus on their family and the legal process ahead. Jesus. Okay. So I saw that, and I thought everything, again, was done. But then I saw that people were talking about there was a Facebook Live press conference, and then I found out that TMZ posted it. So let me play that for you guys. I'm going to speed it up. It's about like 5 minutes long, so let's get into that.
On April 7, 2024, at approximately 10:13 p.m., deputies responded to a residence in the 1900 block of Turnberry Court in Finksburg for a reported burglary. Edward Osefo called 911 to report the burglary. Edward and Wendy Osefo, both from Finksburg, live at that address, and they have 3 school-aged children. They reported that their home had been burglarized sometime between April 2nd and April 7th of 2024 while they were on vacation in Jamaica. The house would have been vacant at the time with no one house sitting. No one had a key to the residence, according to the Osefos. The Osefos claimed that designer handbags and jewelry valued at more than $200,000 were missing from the primary residence bedroom upstairs. Weeks after the alleged burglary, detectives discovered Mrs. Osefo had posted photos on social media wearing jewelry that matched items she had reported stolen, specifically a diamond anniversary band. Detectives were provided receipts by the Osefos for the loss of items that they had purchased dating as far back as 2018. On those receipts were email addresses. We had become suspicious that this was a false claim. Based on a thorough investigation conducted by detectives in my office in coordination with the Carroll County State's Attorney's Office, it became clear that the Osefos had fabricated the burglary and filed a false report in an attempt to fraud their insurance company.
Yesterday, the defendants were indicted by the grand jury for Carroll County in connection with Wendy Osefo. It was 7 counts of insurance fraud, 8 counts of conspiracy to commit insurance fraud, and 1 count of false statement to a police officer. The investigation determined that on April 8th, 2024, the Osefos initiated 3 separate insurance claims for the alleged burglary and theft that occurred at their residence. And those were against Travelers Insurance, Jewelers Mutual Insurance, and Homesite Insurance Company for their alleged losses. Mr. Osefo gave recorded statements to 2 of the insurance companies regarding a list of stolen items. He was also asked whether any of the items on the list had been returned, which he denied. He was asked if he had other insurance but failed to disclose to Homesite and Jewelers that he was also making a claim with Travelers. For a Homesite Insurance, both Edward and Wendy signed a sworn statement of loss, which was notarized. The total amount of loss claimed on the sworn statement of loss was $2,500 for the damage to the building itself and $450,000 estimated for contents and personal property. Some folks may view insurance fraud as an innocuous crime since it only affects insurance companies. That's certainly not true. Insurance fraud affects all of us in the form of increased premiums that we all bear, so we take those offenses very seriously.
So I'm gonna be honest. When I watched the press conference, I had an attitude because I said, "So why are we doing this press conference for the black family? Why are we doing it for the black people? Would you have done it if they was white?" Like that was what was in my head. I'm not lying. I was so irritated. I was like, but then I calmed down a little bit. I did. I was like, okay, Leah, let's breathe for a minute. And then I looked at it and I was like, they're probably doing the press conference because of their pseudo celebrities and also the amount. $450,000, yeah, you getting a press conference. Maybe like if they had did $50,000, no, but $450,000, girl, that's almost $500,000. An extra 50 is $500,000. So I'm just like, that's probably why. Then when I looked at the sheriff's department, I said, it's giving real conservative, real MAGA country, real rural. And that's why I get annoyed when people try to say, like, Maryland is not the South. And I'm like, it's not, but it is. I'm like, I don't count Baltimore as the South. I feel Baltimore is the North. But I'm just like, if you go into outer parts of Maryland that's not the city, the Confederate flag be flying high up in Maryland. Okay, so I was just like, girl, why would y'all play these games in this county? Like you, the way they got Karen and they don't play, they about to get y'all and they not playing, you know? And so after I saw that on TMZ, I was just like, okay, I'm done. And I was ready to start recording the video. But then I get on Instagram one more time because, I'm just scrolling, just passing the time. And then I find out that they pulled Wendy's episode of Wife Swap and they pushed back the premiere date, which was crazy because I just saw the clip on Twitter of her episode. And it was the lady and her going into their houses and like freaking out. So it says this from OMFG Reality TV. It says Bravo pulled Wendy's episode of Wife Swap, the Real Housewives edition, and pushed back the series premiere date to October the 21st, according to Variety, because it was supposed to premiere on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, after Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And I got annoyed by that. Like, I don't feel like they should have pulled the episode, to be honest, because I'm like, they got charged, but they didn't get convicted. Like, if it was a conviction, I would totally get it. But, like, them being charged should not, this should, to me, should not be the response from the network. Like, as many lawsuits as this network has dealt with, Jen Shah, Tom Girardi, Karen, who else? Who else has done something fraudulent? Well, Karen wasn't fraud, it was a DUI. But Jen Shah and Tom Girardi were the biggest ones. And we saw all the episodes with Jen Shah lying about her innocence. And we saw Erica going through her situation with him. But I get Erica still being on Beverly Hills because she did not do the, she ain't do the crime, but you know how the people feel about that. Jen Shah, we know, participated heavily in what she did. She got convicted. She in prison for 6.5 years. Well, it keeps getting knocked down. But, like, I'm just like, Teresa, that's what I heard. That's someone else I was thinking about, like Teresa. And we saw Teresa go to jail. But I also understand that was like the first time that had ever happened on the show. So I get them wanting to document that. But I just feel like they weren't convicted. So why are we pulling the episode? But I guess they're probably going to film another housewife to fill her spot. But I'm also like, girl, that's why you don't do this type of stuff, because they will punish us before they punish anybody else. Like, you are going to get the full brunt of the punishment before they punish anybody else. And I was just like, dang, girl. And so the last thing I saw before I started to, do this video was this coming from Kim Pyre's Twitter by way of All True Tea. And he posted this saying, exclusive, according to my sources, the cameras are being picked back up tomorrow. No confirmation whether Wendy will be involved, but the other ladies, including Giselle, will be filming. #RHOP. Girl, they about to... Oh my God. I know Kiarna about to go in, Stacey about to go in, Giselle and Ashley. Girl, you know Ashley about to be, Ashley and Kiarna probably gonna be going in on her, girl. Oh my God. Maybe even Angel. So editor Leah here, y'all. Ashley ain't no good. I told y'all Ashley was going to be one of the ones going in, and I wasn't wrong. She was down singing at somebody's lounge. God, I don't know why, but she was. And she decided to say Zen Win is in the pen, as well as we making melodies, not felonies. So let me pull that clip up for you guys.
Prayers and all of that. Well, she's a professor. All right, I love y'all. Have a good night. Felonies, if you know what I mean. I'm just not there. In case there was some confusion, that's what we're doing around here. Okay, that's it. That's what we're doing. Just making melodies. Okay. All right. That was just a thought.
Again, I don't know who is allowing Ashley to sing at their lounge and who is paying to see Ashley sing. But I will say this. You can laugh at people's downfalls, but you should be prepared that yours might be around the corner. So if I was Ashley, girl, stay prayed up, because life has a way of humbling you real quick. Girl, you gave a win to your enemies. A win to... I know Eddie's family is feeling vindicated. Oh my gosh. So I found one more thing in my phone that just, before I give my final commentary, this was posted by Reality Rundown, and it was a post from Sutton's Roller. We referenced them on here before, but it says this: Wendy used Bonnie and Clyde by Jay-Z for her IG post the same day she called the police on April the 7th, 2024, hashtag RHOP, and it was the day that they filmed the reunion during season 8. Oh my God. Final thoughts. This was some dumbass shit. If it's real. Like, if all of this stuff that's being alleged against them, was such a stupid move. And it also shows that, like, y'all really were, like I said, I felt like Wendy was trying too hard. I've always felt like she tries too hard and she slick corny. And with me saying that, that does not mean I want anything bad to happen to them. I do, like when I said what I said before in the video, that I hope they get like the minimal consequences, because this seems to be like their first offense. I truly mean that, because they got 3 kids. Three kids who, like, again, them doing this and them going to jail for like 10 years would like literally destroy them. You see how much they love their parents. Like, this would, and it's like, this would ruin their lives, okay? And they would have to rebuild, and I don't want that for them kids. I do not want that for them. But I'm just like, why would y'all do this? Nigerian people already get that bad rap and that stereotype for being scammers, and then you commit insurance fraud, you scamming. Like, the way people who were already like colorist, xenophobic, or who just genuinely did not like Wendy are going to run with that narrative if they stay on the show. Like, like, why would you do this? Like, why? And also, how bad is y'all's debt? Like, this is what happens when you try to keep up appearances, because y'all are buying things and then returning them. Like, we don't know Potomac for the wealth and the money and the fashions. Y'all are not known for that. This is not Beverly Hills. This is not Miami. This is not even New York or Salt Lake City. Hell, y'all not even like old Atlanta when the girls had the coinage, the wealth, you know. They weren't relatable. Y'all are a very, 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 very much relatable, like, cast. Like, half the restaurants that they go to on this show, I've been to. I mean, they costly, but they don't cost that much, okay? So I'm just kind of like, there was no need for you to do this. And I just want to, like, I thought Happy Eddie was doing good. And do you know how badly this messes up other things for you? Like, there's going to be no more you getting called to Wendy be getting called to speak at colleges or to be a professor or a teacher. Okay, girl, that's out the window for a long amount of time. Because when we do something, people discard us quickly, expeditiously. Okay, so ain't nobody gonna be calling you back. Hell, girl, ain't no HBCUs gonna touch you for a minute. For a minute, girl. Like you're not gonna be talking at nobody's women conferences. You can, like, I don't even know if they might invite you back to like Essence for a hot minute. You might get invited back, but just know people gonna be in them audience trolling. Asking you about the skin. Oh my God, is she gonna go to BravoCon, because that's coming up? It's just like, you really sullied your reputation, and I think that's why everyone's gagged, because nobody thought this would be you, and it's you and your husband. Like, Eddie is an attorney. Like, how does that work for him? Like, are they going to suspend his license? Are they going to disbar him? Like, there's so many things that can change. Like, how is the Nigerian community going to treat y'all now? Are they going to shun your children? Like, this was so stupid. And it's crazy because this was because I was going to talk about this in the spicy corner. Shouts out to the Brooke Ashley. I really do enjoy her channel. We've referenced her over here before. But on her first review of the season, she talked about how when she was at that DirecTV event, she met Wendy, Alexia, Gertie, Lisa, Barlow, and Meredith. Like, they were all there in New York. She was there with her mom. She said she took a picture with Wendy, and after they took the picture, Wendy basically told a lady that she was mean. And Brooke was like, what do you mean I mean? Like, can you give me examples, context? And she was just like, she just said, you're mean. I don't really watch your channel, which was disrespectful because, girl, we know you watched the channel. Because you wouldn't have been so nice to Wendy. Because Wendy, like, the way Brooke would ride for Wendy and Candace, honestly, that's the reason why I followed her and started watching her commentary. I found Brooke during season 5 of Real Housewives of Potomac, Armageddon, okay? The end of times, okay? That was a battlefield out there. But she was one of the only YouTubers I respected during that time because she was honest about her opinion and she wasn't doing mental gymnastics to absolve Monique from her behavior. So I respected the way that Brooke carried herself, as well as I respected the way that she, like, was authentic in her opinion, and that she stuck up for Wendy and Candace. Because the way that people were being outwardly colorist, xenophobic, and transphobic towards Wendy, there were so many people saying that Wendy looked like a man. There were people posting her pictures beside Arsenio Hall and what's his name, Wesley Snipes, when he was dressed up in the movie To Wong Fu. Like, they were like really going in on her. So for the simple fact for Wendy to be like, oh, you know, you're mean. And then Brooke said she actually messaged Wendy and asked her, like, hey, can you explain to me where I've been mean at? And Wendy didn't respond. And I'm like, that's the problem with Wendy. She started smelling herself, like my parents and the old people say, because everyone liked her. Everyone thinks Wendy's fly when she dressed. People think she's beautiful. She's the Godiva goddess and all of that stuff. But you weren't that girl until you hit season 6, after you got a full mommy makeover and you started to get that wig and that makeup together. And I'm not shaming her for that, but it's like, remember where you came from and remember the people that were there for you. And that's why I said when I did my review that, like, I'm not going to outright discredit Kiana. Kiana just needs to bring better examples, because Wendy does have a dismissive personality, and it's like, you do dismiss people and you only feel this way because the fans gas you up. And I'm wondering, are you going to keep that same energy? The same way I'm wondering, is Karen going to come up on this channel and try to still be the grand dame, knowing, girl, we know you drove your car into a tree and you've been drinking liquor like it's water for years. So, like, are you going to stay on this show and humble yourself? Or are you going to get off the show and deal with this quietly? I don't know. I just feel like this was such a dumbass move. And I need to know how badly y'all financial debt was. Because honestly, it's given that Wendy really wanted the girls to like her. She really and that's also why that's low-key why I don't like Bronwyn from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Like, I respect the girls, whether you are a villain or just like or not. I want you to be yourself. I don't want you to succumb to fan praise or fan critique of you, because at the end of the day, this fan base is fickle and you should just be yourself. So at the end of the day, you can look in the mirror and know, hey, I'm being me. That's the way I operate this channel, okay? I do not give a damn that y'all don't like my opinion when it comes to certain housewives. I don't mind if you have a difference of opinion and you tell me that in a respectful manner, because I don't want my page to be an echo chamber. But at the end of the day, I feel how I feel, just like how you feel, and I can stand by the things that I say, just like I would hope the things that you put in my comments, you can stand by. And it's just kind of like, you did this because if this is true, because right now all of this is alleged, but you did this because you wanted the fans to like you. You wanted to keep up with like what you thought a housewife was supposed to be. And you and your husband are now looking at like 10 plus years in jail for insurance fraud. Like, I can't. I can't, because this is bad. This season hasn't even started, and I know, like, when it comes time for the reunion, Wendy gonna be fighting for her life. If she even show up for the reunion, she might pull a Karen. She might pull a Karen and try to find a way to, like, get out of the reunion and set herself up to come back next season. But the crazy thing about it is next season is not going to be about Karen and her lying about these DUIs and being vindicated. It's going to be about Wendy and this scams and the frauds. That's what it's going to be about. And I don't know if Wendy or Eddie have, like, y'all even gave that freaking Pixar reject, Deborah, a chance to laugh. Oh my God. Y'all gave y'all enemies too much ammunition. Jesus. I don't know what the outcome gonna be, but that's all I got. That is all I got. As always, y'all, remember to be bravely authentic. Again, remember to be bravely authentic, okay? Drop down in the comments below, like the video, subscribe, pray for the people, okay? And I'm out, y'all. Deuces.